Let's take a look, speaking of all these other teams, at our power rankings for this week.
What?
Because I think you guys
Where are they?
going to be very excited about this right here.
You need to pick a lane, Shane. Do you want to talk about the Mariners or not?
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I told you. You brought this upon yourself.
We did this to you. Yeah, we did. You're right. I'm sorry. This is a beautiful sight. Do not adjust your smartphone or your computers at this point. That is the Arizona Diamondbacks on our power rankings at the number 4 spot. It took too long for us to actually put them up this high. They deserved this before now. But the Diamondbacks, let's face it. Let's face facts. Let's be honest. The Diamondbacks are one of the best goddamn teams in the league, folks. That's the truth. And that's how they're playing right now. They have the best record, not one of the best records. They have the best record since the All-Star game. Don't muddy it with these other teams that don't have as many wins as them. They've been playing incredible baseball, and they made their debut on our power rankings last week, and here they are at spot number 4.
I feel like it's normally my job in this situation to be the realistic guy who's like, no, Derek, I need to bring you down to earth a little bit on this.
Nope, that was his decision.
Yeah, it was. I did the power rankings.
He was like, guess
today.
where they're going to be? I'm like, 7th. And he was
I wound up putting them a little higher than Derek was expecting. But yeah, like I said earlier, the D-backs are 3 games away from having the best record in baseball. And power rankings are not just about who has the best record. Like, it'd be a pretty boring exercise if we just pulled up the standings and did 1 through 10 with the standings.
Who has the best run differential? That's pretty much it, right?
I could be guilty of doing that a little too much at times. But yeah, power rankings are about, who do you not want to play right now? And you do not want to play the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, right? They've won 10 of their last 11 games. They've won 17 of their last 20. This is maybe the last team in baseball that you would want to be playing right now. And that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to put them number 1. We still kind of keep the bigger picture in mind. Like the Yankees, their run differential is about 40 points higher than the Diamondbacks. I still think that has some merit for sure.
I mean, Juan Soto doesn't stop hitting home runs right now. It's insane.
Yeah, Juan Soto has been unbelievable.
4 home runs and 4 at-bats, basically, in that series.
It was outrageous. But at the same time, when I look across the landscape of baseball right now, we don't have a team that's on pace for 100 wins. We don't have that team that has really separated itself as that is a juggernaut come playoff time. That team doesn't exist. And that's why the Diamondbacks are sort of just up here in the mix, basically on the same level in my mind as the Yankees and the Orioles, and not quite the Dodgers, but pretty close. The gap here just isn't very big.
Well, let's take a look at that power ranking again, because the New York Yankees do top it off at 1. Dodgers there are at spot number 2. The Orioles are at number 3. Then the Arizona Diamondbacks, followed by the Padres, which honestly is a pretty good call, because these teams have been Spider-Man memes staring at each other, over the course of this stretch where they've both been so good. And then they beat the Phillies. So rightfully so, the Diamondbacks are above the Phillies, and that feels good. I'm sure some Phillies fans would lose their minds seeing this, but
I mean, the D-backs, the gap between them and the Phillies, if I can pull this up, is not very large at all. The Phillies are 70 and 50, they're 69 and 53, so that's 2 games. The D-backs are 2 games behind the Phillies, and they just took 3 out of 4 in pretty decisive fashion. The Phillies are just not playing good baseball in general. I know there's a lot of narratives about Kyle Schwarber saving their season with a grand slam in yesterday's game that helped them to a comeback win over the Marlins, but that was against the Marlins. So I think the Phillies still have some more work to do, I think, before they're back being the potentially juggernaut team that they looked like they were earlier in the year.
The Houston Astros, that were not ranked, are up to number 7 on that power ranking. They have been 9-3 over the past 2 weeks, and they are another team that you do not want to play right now. They are very hot.
They're automatically going to be.
I'm staring at Shane's face while I'm saying it.
They're automatically going to be. You might want to cover your ears for this, Shane. The Astros are going to be in the ALCS, right? I mean, this happens every single year. And I know there were some doubts early in the season with how terrible they were out of the gate. But the Astros are starting to do Astros things. They're 10 games over 500 at this point. They've won 8 consecutive games. So they are playing very good baseball. And then
can I just ask you a question real fast? Why did they put Robbie Ray in the 9th to face Jordan Alvarez?
I don't have an answer for you on that.
That was 2 years ago, Shane. That's like the 8th time you've asked me that question.
Yeah, he
since
asks
then.
a lot, at least once a week.
That's-
He
that
does
was-
this
that's
every Friday.
That's 4 times a year. That's once a quarter. That's not that bad.
Notice that since the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies and the Guardians, both of those teams are broken. They were in the top 5, but now they aren't any longer. Guardians drop down to 8th, and then Brewers round things off at number 9 with the Twins in our final spot at 10. And the Twins are still a very dangerous team. I mean, the AL still has a lot going on as well, but right now, this NL West race and basically it's kind of like a 4-team race right now for the wild card until maybe one of these other teams pick it up. And that's what could happen. There's a lot of games left to play amongst all of these teams that are in these races together. So there's a great chance for any team to make up some ground here. Diamondbacks still play the Mets. They still play the Giants. They play the Dodgers. They play the Padres. All of these teams that are kind of surrounding them right now, they still have games left against them.